Hello, namaste. This is Tim Halloran. I'm an astrologer here in Savannah, Georgia. This is a weekly astrological forecast. I put these videos on YouTube once a week. You can help support future videos by purchasing a reading from me at the link below. Today is Wednesday, the 25th of March. We're basically into our last week of March, and this is also officially the first week of the astrological year. So as we've been talking about for many weeks, this is a birthing time. And last week, this was heralded by our spring equinox solar eclipse on the final degree of the zodiac, which is really a symbol for this upcoming year being a year of birth, a year of new direction, new identity, new understanding, and change in a profoundly new direction. So this is the collective weather. This is what's going on for the collective. However, us as individuals is going to be going through this in a totally unique individual way. And I like to compare this to dance and music, where we are all on this one dance floor, but we're all in different dance positions at different times in different places on the floor, although we are also simultaneously in sync with the rhythm, with the beat, with the change of the flow of the music. So we are all going through this collective beat that was started on the spring equinox. That is a beat, the beginning of a new cycle. You know, we can think of this like the ticking of the hand on a clock. So this is a new beat, this is a new movement, this is a new cycle, but each of us are going to be going through this in totally unique, varying ways. So this is going to bring us the themes as well as the challenges of what we are moving through from this point on. Because we are existing in a three-dimensional world, we can look at birth as being something that happens within time. Therefore, there is a past, there is a future to all of this that we can look at using the help of astrology and the zodiac. So using the zodiac in this way, the way we can generally look at the past and the future is to look at the signs that lie next to the signs that we are currently in. So, on the spring equinox, that is the time the sun enters Aries, which is the beginning of a new cycle of the zodiac. And this is why it's the beginning of the astrological year. And this is also springtime, birth time, the initiation of the new. New life comes in. This is Aries, indicating a new direction, pioneering a new way. And it is so much the youthful individual, okay, which is excited to be born. When we're born, we have new fresh bodies that are so flexible, that are so energized, and can do so many different things. So there is this excitement of Aries that we are coming into. However, this birth time that is symbolized by Aries can be experienced in a whole variety of different ways. And because this has been an intense past month, I mean, this energy throughout the last several months has been culminating and culminating and culminating. And this last week has been a bit of a peak. And you know, this birth time, you know, that was not only just the solar eclipse and the equinox, we also had our final Uranus square to Pluto. It's going to be taking us into many years to come. So we are initiating big cycles, and we're just starting now. We're just getting on our 2 feet. And this takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of integration, it takes a lot of grounding into three-dimensional reality, the new way, what we actually are functionally, practically building right now. And what this is the movement from Aries into Taurus. The movement from Aries into Taurus is we birth a new individual with a new way, a new direction, new identity, new ideals. And Taurus is when we start to implement this into 3 dimensions, when we start to ground it into practical reality. And we have to start dealing with resources. We have to start measuring things out. We got to start paving things in a way that works. And this is work. Taurus is work. It is the bull. It is slow forward pushing, and we are pushing forward. And we can look at the past, the present, and the future to see where we are coming from and how we are pushing forward collectively. So the past is Pisces. Pisces is where we were throughout the month of February into March. And Pisces is this very idealistic pre-birth time. Before the new person is born, we have all these ideas, and we send love to the mother, we send love to the uterus, and we intend to have the most gentle birth and the most, gentle and nice and productive future life and future family. So Pisces is this time where we are swimming into the ideals that leads into the excitement of the birth. And the birthing is what is going on now and is going to continue to go on for many months. The ramifications of this eclipse, the ramifications of this Pluto-Uranus square are going to continue to take us very, very far. Energetically, this is a shaking up of the collective, which means that old structures fall down, and we see which new structures are stronger, are more evolved. Therefore, we can give more of our energy and time to that new direction and continue to add more to these newer, more evolved structures. But there is a lot of challenge in this, and we may start to feel this week that we are now entering a more practical kind of coming down from the excitement of Pisces, the ideals, the new direction, the excitement of the building up of the eclipse, the excitement of the building up equinox, which means that we can feel this warm, alive energy permeating through us and burning to get to the surface. And now it is coming through us and will continue to come through us for a long time. But where do we go from here? We can't just endlessly swim in the excitement and venture of Aries, which means that everything is new, go explore, everything is new, go explore, everything is new, go explore. We have to start practically implementing this into reality. We start to have to do the actual work that is being asked of us. It's very, very exciting when we graduate from college and we have all these ideals of the future careers, and then we go to the job interview and then we get the job, and that's like Aries, the new way begins. And then you go to the job the first day, it's super exciting. You go to the job the second day, it's super exciting. And then gradually it becomes a part of who you are and what you're doing, and it kind of loses the excitement a little bit because it starts getting more focused on what we are actually practically doing. Yeah, it's super exciting that now I have a new job, that means a new paycheck, blah, 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 so much more freedom, so much more direction. I have a newfound identity that feels structured, that feels close to who I am. These are all sentiments that can be coming up during this time, which are very wonderful. But we can't just celebrate these sentiments and do nothing with them. We have to start channeling them into our body, channeling them into what we are doing throughout our day-to-day life, throughout time, in a practical, resourceful, grounded way. And so what, of course, I am talking about is not only Taurus, which is resources, which is grounded, which is measuring, and also making sure that we have what we need to survive. We're also talking about Saturn, which is karma, which is time, which is limitations. If we're dealing with resources, we're dealing with the fact that resources are limited and that we have to do things in a certain way. So although we do have these newfound identities, energy, directions that are going to continue to be streamlining in, we are already seeing the foreshadowings of the future, which means that now we have to start implementing these things. And this is in fact how it always works with the past, present, and the future. There is truthfully only the present, but the traces of the past and the foreshadowing of the future are here in the present. So we do have to now be looking forward to what we are practically doing. How can we best implement this into my daily life? And this can feel a little like coming down to earth, putting on a little bit more of a serious face, having to deal with real life. This is Saturn. So today we have Sun in a trine to Saturn. And actually, it's a grand trine between Sun and Saturn. Sun's in Aries, Saturn's in Sagittarius, and asteroid Juno, which is in Leo. And this is an opportunity, as well as a challenge, to integrate firmly our new structure of identity, of philosophy, of direction, of freedom. Yes, and this is the thing, this is the challenge, is that everybody is birthing something, but it's completely different, and we're at a different place, we're at a different position, we're in a different dance move on the dance floor. So someone can be birthing a new business and be entirely focused on their new business, whereas somebody else can be focused on birthing a new spiritual direction, which can be very, very different in many respects. And we've been in this very excited Aries energy where we want to share what we have learned. And the challenge is, how do we integrate our newfound identity and our excited individual direction with other people, in relationships, in practical three-dimensional reality? So this grand trine between Saturn, the Sun, and Juno is the opportunity to do this. How can we integrate our philosophy, our identity into time, into form, with our partners, with our relationships, with our significant others? And this can be challenging because it requires a lot of balance, requires a lot of give and take, show and tell. And this is the eclipse season that we are in as well. We had an eclipse basically at 0 degrees Aries. The next eclipse, a week from now, will be in Libra, the sign of the other. This is a polarity of self and other. Also simultaneously, we have the moon's nodes, south node in Aries, north node in Libra, self and other. And we are evolving from a position of simply being concerned about us and what we are doing in our direction and what's going on for us, to integrating this in with the world, in with society, in with relationships. So what is the test? What is the measure of how successfully we are actually grounding our new direction, our new ideal, our new identity into the world? Is how well we are functioning in our relationships. And this can be very challenging. This can be very challenging as the person who is birthing a new business and the person who's birthing a new spiritual identity are going to have many differences in what's going on for them on the individual level versus, say, these two people are in a relationship, how they are functioning as a couple, how they are functioning as a family, how they are practically working together to help each other continue to move forward, help you move forward in your business, help you move forward in your spiritual direction, but in a way that is balanced, in a way where there is not even, the going back and forth, because I'd like to say, okay, Libra, this sign of harmony, balance, love, sharing, artistic expression. These are all wonderful things that we need to have as our goal and as our direction right now. However, does that mean that we should simply talk and then listen, talk and then listen? Is it like, that's essentially the practice, is how to show and tell, how to not talk too much, how to listen and get these things in balance. But, let's say it's like, oh, I'm talking about my business. Oh, I'm talking about my spiritual direction. Oh, I'm talking about my business. Oh, I'm talking about my spiritual direction. That may be fair and balanced, but is that really working in an integrated, harmonious way? Or is it still just seesawing back and forth and back and forth? And this is challenging, this is difficult, and this is not easy for a number of reasons. The other thing is that, in this profound birthing time, the way birthing can happen is not always a painless way. We can, the way I really see the energy going on this week is, okay, Friday was our solar eclipse. Then Friday, Saturday, the moon was in Aries, which was this excitement, this new direction. The energy is very intense, very stimulating, so much stuff going on, so much excitement, so much action. Then the moon went into Taurus on Sunday. This is when we start to ground. On Monday, the moon was void of course in Taurus all day long. This very easily can be the throwing off of our week. Like, I was so excited for this new direction, all this stuff, and now I have to come down to reality, ground myself into my body, and actually do the work. And Monday, it's like things don't go totally according to plan. The schedule gets screwed up, and now we're going into the week, and things are already challenging. Things are already revealing to us the upcoming challenges that is involved with this birthing and integrating the new self and new direction and new identity into actual three-dimensional form. So Tuesday, moon moves into Gemini, moon's in Gemini today. This is communicating with others. We start giving feedback about the new direction, how we can actually do this practically. Let's express ourselves. Let's communicate. Tomorrow, the moon will move into Cancer. This is even more intimate. I want to feel emotionally secure in my new direction. If it's just business from one person and just spiritual direction, this is what's going to make us feel insecure in our relationship, is it doesn't really feel like we have a lot of intimate, shared energy. You know, we're not sharing a lot together. We're not doing a lot on a totally merged, emotionally open way. And so on Friday, we have our second quarter square moon, which is our first full half moon following the solar eclipse. Okay, so the half moon is in Cancer on Friday, square to the sun in Aries. And this is the first initial challenge following that solar eclipse. The challenge of birthing this new direction, this new way, is that the sun is in Aries. We have this new direction. We're super excited, and we're excited about what's going on for us, and we desire emotional intimacy. We desire security in our relationships, feeling like we're not just going to become isolated or drift away from the world like a balloon. We need to make sure that we are emotionally involved and intimate with other people. In fact, that is the overall direction, really, of this whole lifetime, of this whole period, is we want this increased safety and trust and intimacy with those that are closest to us, and we want more people to be close to us. We want less separation in the human family. And so, the way we do this is through total mastery of Libra. Libra, which is balance, which is love, which is beauty and harmony, being ruled by Venus. And we have an upcoming lunar eclipse in a week that will be in Libra, that will be highlighting this challenge and this direction to find real balance, real harmony, real love. And you know what? This takes trial and error. This takes experimentation. This takes falling down and then getting up again, because we're always doing this in life. And when you give birth to a fresh new body, a fresh new vehicle, a fresh new direction, and you're on a brand new adventure, you have to anticipate that we are warming up to the new identity, the new instrument, the new direction, and that takes time and it takes patience. It really takes patience. I mean, this whole implementing a new paradigm in simultaneously while the old one is dissolving takes patience. It takes trust. And it requires us to understand what new energy is coming in. That way that we don't get swept away from the old things that are going out, in which case the world can feel like an apocalypse. Because so many things are getting swept away. What this really is the making space for the new. But if we're focusing on what's getting swept away, it feels like the world is ending, not that there is a new world being born. So we really do have to keep Pisces with us, which is the goal and the ideal. Aries leaves full circle out to Pisces, and Aries and Pisces are next to each other. They must be united. The mission, the adventure, the new pioneering way is to set out in the direction of our ideals. Ideals, heartfelt ideals that we have been in possession of for a long, long time. And we need to keep these things close to us. We need to keep that in the center of our heart. What are our long-term goals and our ambition? But love, but balance, but harmony. These are the things that we want. So in the midst of all this experimentation with the new direction, the new way, we have to be practical. We have to be grounded. We have to be willing to do the work of trial and error, of experimentation. That way we can actually have loving, secure, intimate relationships between us and all other people. Because if we're going off in a new direction, a new way, a new idea, a new identity, and we don't have those things, it kind of makes that worthless. It's just going to isolate us, it's going to separate us, in which case we have to come back. So there is this little bit of a rhythm that we need to be aware of and keep in balance, and that's the rhythm of self and other. That means you can go into yourself, your unique identity, and discover what brilliance is there that you are in touch with that nobody else is in touch with. And this is what was revealed during this solar eclipse time and is being revealed. Ah yes, this unique personality that is connected to my individual, deepest, heartfelt ideals. This is a part of what makes us a unique identity. Now, we must integrate that unique identity in with the world if it's going to be of any practical use at all. A spiritual identity is great if it's actually benefiting yourself in real life. A new business, wonderful. It's obviously only going to pay off if it's benefiting you in real life. So we go off into ideals and our own individual identity, which is really a movement of isolation. And we discover what's going on for us, what talents, what traits we have that are unique, that we want to share, that we want to pioneer a new way. This can be inventions. I discover something new and brilliant that makes me more evolved than the rest of the collective. However, that brilliance and being more evolved makes me isolated. Therefore, I have to come back to the collective. I must come back to this three-dimensional world. I must come back to my body. I must come back to the mundane problems of earthly everyday life in order to actually benefit myself and the rest of the world. That's the real spiritual mission. It's not just out, I'm going to get enlightened and then, oh, everything's perfect and I just stay in enlightened land. You become enlightened and then you must come back to this world to become a beacon of compassion, to be a bodhisattva for others. That is the process of integration. And this process is not a lot of fun for many of us. And many of us can even become quite intimidated or scared by this part of the process because it can feel like going back in time, going back to the world and its suffering and its mundane trivialities that we thought we were getting rid of by discovering this spiritual direction and identity that is unique and brilliant. We thought that we solved all our problems by going off and discovering our own unique perfection. And then we are called back to this world in time where there is all of this coming and going and complexity, and now all these other people are in your life and they may not see things in the spiritual direction that you do. They might not see things the way that you do at all. And now it's, it's challenging. There can be interference. Like, I'm going to go out and do my astrology video today, and then you get in an argument, and now I feel like I can't focus on what I'm doing, and now I can't blah, blah, blah. It's like, how do we relate with other people and continue to practically be our own individual in our own unique brilliance is the real true challenge that is this lifetime. So we have to be a little bit practical and grounded. And with the sun trine to Saturn, I'm sure that you can sort of feel that, because I tend to be unconsciously expressive. I'm sensitive to the collective, and then I unconsciously express what that feels like. So we can feel Saturn today. We can feel the practical, down to earth. Yes, this is exciting. Yes, this is beautiful. Yes, we're talking about love, truth, eternal spiritual nature. And simultaneously, none of that matters at all if we can't bring it down to reality. Okay, so there is so much excitement, so much birthing, so many new things that are continuing to come in, inventions, a lot of friction too. I mean, there is people that, the other thing is, like, birthing can be exciting. A lot of times birthing seems more like death. A lot of time birthing a new direction is the stripping away of everything else that is not the new direction, which can feel like chaos. It can feel like we've had everything just stripped away. So there is the practical stuff that we are sorting through now. Either you had everything stripped away and now I got to practically figure out what I'm doing exactly with the limited resources that I have, or I got super, super excited and now after a couple days of the new job, I have to actually practically get down to work and integrate this in with my three-dimensional reality, which kind of makes it a little less exciting and a little more just, it is the way it is. And that's what we actually want. If we want to continue to raise the vibration on this planet, you anchor in a new vibration, super exciting, the world is more liberated, more free, more spiritual than we've ever perceived it to be, and then it becomes normal, instantly. A new thing comes in, super excited, and that's just how it is now. New and exciting, it's not a big deal. New and exciting, it's not a big deal. This is the process to actually integrate ourselves practically. That means that you can't just endlessly be swimming around in the ideals of Pisces and the excitement, adventure, always gonna try to escape and discover something new of Aries. We have to, yes, submerge ourselves into all of that and bring it down. Make it real. Make it functional. Make it work for you and your beloveds. And that is how we raise the vibration of this planet. Okay? So, there is so much that's going on. We can certainly still take a look at your chart. We can look at how these eclipses are aligning with your chart. We can take a look at the new direction that is being born, and we can see what unique individual traits and talents you inherently possess and how we can best practically, functionally integrate those into our relationships and the world at large. So I am wishing you all the best. So much love to yourself and your beloveds. Namaste.